let's talk about Lil Durk's arrest. So if you haven't heard, one of your favorite rappers just got arrested by the feds for hiring people to send someone to the pearly gates. Now, spoiler alert, they missed. But when the feds get involved, you know it's bad, bad. You see, one thing about the feds is that they got like a 4.0 GPA in closing cases, right? They don't miss. And that's because they're like Kanye West. They hold on to records for a very long time, for years and years and years and years. And one day, bam, they drop that heat. And once they drop, everybody throwing their hands up like Sunday service. So this story starts with one of Durk's friends called King Von. Now, for my foreign folks, there's a lot of names in these videos that you might not recognize, but just know this. These guys are big deals in America, especially in the parts of America they're from, Chicago, Georgia, whatever. Just stick with me here. Now, King Von is a rapper from Chicago who was also rumored to be a very scary contractor before he started blowing up in the rap scene. So now King Von got sent to Jehovah back in 2020, and it wasn't because of the flu. See, he had a problem with a rapper from Georgia called Quando Rondo. Von sees Rondo outside of a hookah lounge in Atlanta and decided he wanted to throw hands. So Rondo's friends wasn't having it. So they went to the cars and their waistlines and they pulled out them things and they let them things fly. And unfortunately, King Von passes away. So as you can imagine, this is weighing heavy on Lil Durk's mind, right? This is his man's. It's like Shaq and Kobe, or like Mike and Marcus from Bad Boys. This is his guy, his ace. So out of nowhere, Quando starts seeing a lot of medals flying around him, like every time, everywhere he went to. You see, we're rational people. We can't just go on around assuming that this is a revenge plot from Durk's people, right? Psych, of course. That's exactly what people did. If it didn't take a genius to figure that out, it sure didn't take the feds any time to figure that out too, because them feds was on him. And now you might ask, why is the feds getting involved already? Well, a lot of these things were crossing state lines, and once they cross state lines, the feds get involved. That's their jurisdiction. So when a metal thing start flying across state lines, it's like tapping the feds on the shoulder like, yo, what's up? And like I said before, the feds don't rush. They don't play. They hold on to records for years and years and years and years before making their move. So at this point, Durk is turning his life around. He's going deep into Islam. He's going to rehab. He's getting keys to the city. He's making positive music. Well, mostly positive music, because he made some songs that made the feds think to themselves like, he's kind of saying he might have got his revenge. But, you know, it's just something to be curious about, because he's exuding positive vibes only. So they kind of let him chill for the meantime. So with all this positive vibes in the air, I'm thinking to myself, well, Durk is a pretty chill guy. I mean, he looks mostly harmless. Look at this picture. So you can imagine my surprise when the feds picked him up. I literally said to myself, nah, they're reaching. Then I started hearing celebrities say that they've been telling Durk to chill out for a long time and just focus on the money.
Even with Durk, I was telling him, we was in New York, we did Power thing.
Yeah.
And like I was like, yo, this is them, right? It's a real shit, right? He was like, yeah. His crew. And I said, yo, just watch him.
And I'm thinking to myself like, whoa, people didn't come out this quick to talk about R. Kelly and Diddy. So why they talk about him so soon? Now listen up, lock in. I'm about to tell this story backwards, so pay close attention. And by the way, subscribe, because that's the only way I'm going to know if I should quit my day job or not. So on a beautiful sunny day in August 2022, Quando Rondo and his cousin were riding down the streets of LA. Well, I didn't know if the day was sunny or not, but it just sounded good, right? Not knowing that two cars were stalking them, they stop at a gas station across the street from the Beverly Center. One of the cars, a white BMW, drives away. But the second car, a white Infiniti, pulls into an alleyway next to the gas station. So Quando Rondo starts seeing those metal things fly around again out of nowhere, and he's like, damn. And at this point, he's pretty good at the Lil Kim dance move, so he's in the car just dodging and doing the Lil Kim dance. But you see his cousin was standing outside the car, and he wasn't so lucky. And after a long stressful day of letting them things fly, them boys went to get something to eat. And shortly after, they hop on a flight back to Chicago. By the way, that's where they're from. So when they get back to Chicago, they get paid by one of the defendants on the case called Mr. or Mrs. Wilson. And I'm not being funny. I just don't know. It doesn't say it on the court records. And I saw La Madrina. I'm not putting nothing past y'all females no more. So the police gets there in 2.5 seconds because it's right next to the Beverly Center. A lot of tourists, a lot of rich people shit. So the first thing they do, they look at the gas station surveillance. And they see them boys in a certain white Infiniti sedan with ski masks on, hopping out the car with them things on them. Now remember this, ski masks, white Infiniti, them things. Now, by the way, the feds already got one of the co-conspirators on record buying the ski masks the day before from a sporting goods store. Now, all the police had to do was ask themselves one question. Was any of King Von's associates anywhere around LA at the time? Because, of course, they're the number one suspects, right? Now, can you imagine who the hell was in LA at the same damn time that this whole thing was happening? Lil Durk and friends, like a whole concert. It's crazy. 4 friends to be specific. You can't make this ish up. So they didn't all get there at the same time. So the feds had to do a little digging. Okay. So the feds stopped picking up Lil Durk's associate left and right for different reasons and offering them 20 million billion years in prison if they don't start singing. And as we saw in the Young Thug case, this seems to be a very effective method. Well, mostly because they still got to repeat everything they say to the feds in court or in front of a jury. But anyways, when them boys start singing, now again, you might be wondering if they weren't all in LA at the same time, why would the feds pick up Durk? And it's called a conspiracy. Now, for my foreign folks, I don't know what that translates to in French, but please let me know in the comment section. Now, in a conspiracy charge, they are co-conspirators, but named and unnamed. So now the conspiracy goes a little something like this. King Von takes a long vacation. Lil Durk is hurt, so he hires a contractor to take Quando Rondo off the deck. Now, the contractor goes and hires other contractors to make sure that the job goes up to scratch. You following? And what do you know? All the contractors were named as co-conspirators on the case, with the exception of 1 or 2 for a good reason, of course. So now let's tie this all together. Lock in. Durk gets a call that Quando Rondo was going to be in LA. Yeah, the feds got the guy to make the call too. So he calls his contractor. He's like, yo, I heard Quando Rondo going to be in LA. Now I'm going to send you some flights for you and gang to fly to San Diego, and then all y'all can drive to LA. So the drive is less than 2 hours because it's just one city over. So the contractor is like, bet. Now, in the dumbest criminal ball drop of the year, and now this is 2022, by the way, Durk calls his booking agent and is like, hey, yo, I need you to buy some flight for gang and them from Chicago to San Diego, but make sure you don't use their real names. Click. He hangs up. The booking agent is like, huh? But it's too late. Durk already hung up. So the booking agent calls gang and them and is like, hey, yo, listen. The booking agent is like, hey, yo. Oh, my God. I can't even say this without... I can't say this with a straight face. Hold on. Give me a second. The booking agent calls gang and them and is like, hey, yo, I need all y'all to send me IDs for this flight to San Diego. And what do? He hangs up. And they sent all their real IDs with their real names on it. Can you imagine? So the agent goes ahead and books the flights and also books a certain white Infiniti sedan with all their real identities attached to it. But that's not all. The agent also books it with Durk's company credit card. Oh yeah, Durk owns a record label called OTF, Only the Family. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'd have seen all the overt acts listed on the top of the screen. Those are from the court filing. Now, one of the unnamed co-conspirators, who would assume is absolutely not Lil Durk, is being charged with putting bounties on people's heads to send them to the great beyond. Now, I'm going to say this, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty, but I gotta say, it's not looking good for Lil Durk. For those who are still here, thank you. Really appreciate you. But these stories are actually going to be entered into a weekly show. I'm going to be releasing them in segments, so expect to see the full episode of the show the week after this particular episodes drop. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for liking and subscribing. You're awesome. Peace. So on one sunny day in August in 2012, 2012, that's crazy.